I have a great comparison for you today. These are currently the two most sold SUVs in the world. They are neck and neck in sales, selling hundreds of thousands of them. This is a 2024 Tesla Model Y long range. That is a 2024 Toyota RAV4 Woodlands Edition. In this video, I'm going to break down the dimensions between them, starting with the front, the cabin, seats folded down. I'm going to do an efficiency test. We're going to take it on a road trip to see what it costs per mile. I'm going to talk about the technology and safety in both of them. We're going to talk about ride quality. Everything you could possibly want to know will be in this video to help you if you're shopping for either a Tesla Model Y or the Toyota RAV4. Now, I've driven the Model Y a ton. I've only driven the RAV4 briefly, and I can tell you right off the bat, the RAV4 is very comfortable. The suspension is very plush, but let's start with storage and the exterior. Now, one huge advantage that Tesla has is technology. You're able to remotely open your front, unlock the vehicle, open your trunk, or honk the horn remotely, all of that type of stuff, open your charge port. So we've opened up the front on this one. It's not a power front. And you have this huge storage space up here, which you're able to maximize usage. I use this on road trips for things like shoes or dirty towels. Anything that's dirty or wet, I generally put up here to separate from the rest of the cabin. Toyota has a 2.4 liter hybrid engine putting out 219 horsepower in the front of their vehicle, so no extra storage up there. Now, the other thing to note about Tesla, and Tesla's kind of alone in this space, Rivian does also have it, you'll notice there's hardware 4 cameras here, here, and 3 cameras right here for Tesla's autopilot and full self-driving system. Now, despite having all of those cameras, and that actually acts as a remote security system, so you're able to remotely view your vehicle and see what's going on around it. Also, if an accident happens in front of you or to you, you will have that recorded to a USB drive that you can give to your insurance company or the police to see who is liable for the accident. I find that extremely useful. Now, they have all of that, but it does not have a front-facing camera. And Tesla says, well, we have a vision system that we really like. Me personally, I just like to have a camera to see exactly where I'm at. I find that to be the most accurate. Tesla still has not integrated that. They have integrated it on the Cybertruck, but that's a $100,000 truck just to pay for a front-facing camera. Now, this specific Woodlands Edition RAV4 has some off-road tires, it's lifted, different suspension system, and as well as black chrome exhaust tips, but it does not have a front-facing camera. However, you can get that in a technology package on other RAV4s, whereas the Model Y, you cannot get a front-facing camera. So if that's very important to you, just understand that you have to option it on this. You cannot option it on the Model Y. So I'm 6 feet tall. This is my comfortable driving position in the front seat. Plenty of space. How does the back look? So, nice. We got a nice amount of space in the back, but we need to compare them. We got to be scientific. So we are going to use this straw here from McDonald's. Do you need this straw by chance? No. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. This is a measuring device. We're going to put that up against the back of the seat. We're going to go right off of my left knee. This is the space. Wouldn't you love to have this? This is the space in the Model Y. All right, seat is up. And in the RAV4 here, you can see this. So you're able to angle the seat. So you have this position right here, more upright, and you can have a leaned back position. The Tesla has that exact same feature. I think the angle of the seat in both the RAV4 and the Y is the same. All right, seating position. Let me just confirm we're good. Yep, this is my driving position. Look at how bare bones this steering wheel is, by the way. Really bare bones steering wheel, but I think the Woodlands Edition is more stripped out to put money into the off-road features, such as the flow-formed 18-inch wheels, the studded tires, different suspension, because you're going to be taking this off-road, potentially camping. So that's why this is like it is. But the measurement. Uh-oh. Wow, we have a tie ball game. Look at that. Same. So we have the same amount of space in the rear. Now, this looks like it's out of the back of a Dodge Stratus here. You know, we got the air vents down here, but you do have 2 USB-C ports, which you have in the Y. You're able to move these up and down. So you have all of that back here. No seat pocket here. We do have a seat pocket here. I don't know why manufacturers don't put one here, but do put one there. I've noticed that in a lot of vehicles. And also, there is no panoramic roof in this. It's just a very pedestrian roof. tan. It's tan. The other thing you will notice is there is a lot of plastic in here, just all of this. But what I like to say about plastic in vehicles, they're obviously trying to cut costs. What matters is touch points. So as a passenger, you may be touching this, and this is a softer leather, so that's nice. But the rest of it, yes, it is just hard plastic and these cloth seats. Despite them being basic, they are very comfortable, so I do have to give them that. And reminder, this is a hybrid, it's not a plug-in hybrid. So you don't need to ever plug this in or do anything like that. The hybrid technology just works. And while driving it, you have EV mode. So at lower speeds, I think under 15 miles per hour in traffic, you're running strictly off battery until that runs out, and then the gas will kick in. And that's why the city MPG is so high on this thing, because you're relying on the battery when the engine is running at its least efficient mode. Now I'm gonna use my McDonald's straw as a pointer here. So this is the floor mat that comes with the Tesla Model Y. I think the base model doesn't even come with floor mats, but you can see here all this dirt and hair and everything gets into the carpet of the car, and then this is hard to clean out. That's why I recommend 3D mats. They have a bold design, they're waterproof, they're sound absorbent, they are excellent, they are the best for the Model Y. I have a discount code for them below, and they also have a Premier liner, which is carpeted. I currently have those in my Model Y, and it's like coming into your living room. Sometimes I want to take my shoes off while getting into the vehicle. They're so nice. So I will have both of those linked in the description below. Code Gjeebs 3D10 for the rubberized ones, and then code Gjeebs 3D40 for the Premier liner. The Premier are expensive, but you'll get them and you'll be like, yeah, I get why. The fitment is incredible.
Now, because of the Model Y's rear sloping roofline, this rear storage area is 30.2 feet cubed with the seats up. The RAV4 is 37.6 cubic feet of cargo space behind its rear seats because of its more traditional squared off roofline. But when you put the seats down in the RAV4, you're looking at 69.8 cubic feet, whereas the Model Y wins with 76.2 feet cubed.
But the other thing we need to talk about is the display, which brings us to the technology section of this review. Something that's intimidating to people is only having a screen and not having any buttons, but there is actually a huge advantage to just having the screen and this being a software-based vehicle. So when we click over here, you will see all of these different settings. And what Tesla is able to do, their software engineers are able to go in and make changes to all of this. They are able to add and subtract features that are being used or not, and you have some customization that you can do. So if you want to do the left seat and you want this to be one of the quick buttons, it can go right down there and you're able to click out, and then that sticks down there. So you're able to customize this screen to your liking and your usage. Despite there being no buttons, you will get used to it over time, and they will make updates to it. Another recent update is an air quality update. So you click this right here, and you're able to see the outside temperature by the hour and the chance of rain, and just get some information on where you're at and what the weather is going to be. Now, I bought my Tesla Model Y in 2020. It still has about 90% of the features that this brand new 2024 Model Y has. So think about what a BMW looked like in 2020, and now what a BMW looks like in 2024 heading to 2025. Your BMW is going to look outdated, whereas Tesla continues to update and improve the older models, which I really appreciate as a customer. Something else to note is after you do an update, there will be these little blue dots in here showing that this is new or something is new inside of there, that now they've added Amazon Music. So you click on that and you're able to access Amazon Music if that's something that you use for streaming your music. The other thing to note is the sound system in here is excellent. It's one of the best I've ever felt. And another thing that people complain about sometimes in hotter weather climates is their sunshade. This one is from Vion in here. This is the best sunshade that is out there for the Model Y, simply because of the fitment. You can see how tight it is around all the corners, and the mesh here is really taut. So what they did is they upgraded the aluminum that's inside of here to keep it really tight, and then there's a reflective layer on the other side, and then this colored layer to match the interior on this side. So I've worked with Vion for over 4 years now. When I bought my Model Y, they reached out. We've continued to have a great partnership, and they've continued to listen to me and their customers on their parts. So this is the best sunshade to get. It's also like half the price of Tesla's, and it fits really nice. You can fold it up, throw it in the sub trunk. Let's look at the technology in the RAV4. Now, two things that the Tesla doesn't have that the RAV4 does have are interesting. The first thing is probably not great. This RAV4 does not have a power trunk. So to close it, a lot of you people probably can't even close a trunk, you're so weak anymore. So to close it, you have to use your arms. To open it, you also have to use your arms to get this thing lifted up, which is interesting. You can also see we have the Woodland sticker here, hybrid in black. The blacked out package does look really nice. And you have this rubberized trunk cover. And what I really like about this trunk cover is it has this garaged look here. So when you fold the seats down, you see the pine trees and you see you're saving the pine trees and everything. And that's really nice. 3D Mats does also have something like this that gives you seat back protectors for the Model Y. But one thing the Model Y does not have, and some people complain about this, is a spare tire. So this has a partial spare in the back here, and if you're going to be doing off-roading and things like that, you may want to have this on deck if you blow a tire out, because an air compressor may not save you. So that is a nice feature that it has a spare tire, doesn't have the power trunk, but I'm sure that other RAV4s do. This is just missing some interesting options because of what they've invested in the off-road package. Now, a few things to note about this specific model. $36,545 is the total. That's after delivery, processing, and handling fee. And it gets 38 miles per gallon in the city and 35 miles per gallon on the highway. We are going to test that here shortly and show you a cost comparison between the two of them. So, the other interesting thing, this does not even have heated seats, which is kind of crazy to me. But it does have this nice shelf over here. You're able to store your phone or whatever. I always say, maybe you could put your phone down for once and actually speak to the people in the car with you as opposed to being like, you know what I mean? You also have an 8-inch multimedia display with wireless Apple CarPlay. You cannot get Apple CarPlay in the Tesla Model Y. You at least can't do it in a really smooth manner. It's some janky this thing and that plugs into here and you know how the thing. And so that's that. So if you really like Apple CarPlay, you have to go with the Toyota. You also have these nice knobs here. They just got this rubberized knob. You just want to spin these knobs all the time. I really like those. You have your air conditioning controls, or overseas, you guys like to call it the aircon. I'm sat in a RAV4, and this is how you change the aircon. You also have, if you want to break the tires loose and shut the highway down and do donuts, you can do traction control right here. You have a 12-volt outlet down here. You have a USB-A outlet down here, which is interesting. You have your shifter, you can do hold in traffic, you can change it from eco to sport mode, there's trail mode, and there's EV mode, which I talked about earlier. The shifter goes down like this, and if you want to put it in sport, you simply bump it over and you're able to shift through the gears. So that's how that all works. 2 cup holders here, deep. It's a deep hole here. And you have a center console with 2 USB-C ports, and it closes nicely. Now, this is a nice touch point. It's nice and soft here. The steering wheel is one of the most basic steering wheels. I think this is the most basic steering wheel I've tested in 3 years. I actually can't believe it doesn't even have leather or anything. You can even see the seam where it like was 3D printed or the mold came together. So it's kind of remarkable how basic it is, but you're able to do your volume, your voice commands, all that stuff, cruise control on here. The other thing we need to point out is the gauge cluster. So the gauge cluster is extremely basic. It looks really old. It looks like the original RAV4 EV, but you can see it just has a power meter, eco, charging, and off. Over here you have your fuel capacity, your temperatures, and in the center you have a digital display, and you're able to scroll through the various settings here, kind of whatever you want to have shown up there, you can have it shown, and then in each section, like the efficiency or driving, you can go through there. I kind of just leave it here to show the miles per gallon we're getting, and then you have your miles per hour up top as well as your time. So it's weird, these gauges on the side, but really all you need is this center display showing how fast you're going. Now, if you have an off-road tire like this, you may want to air them down while you're on the trail and then air them back up while you're on the road. And that's why today's video sponsor is Fantic, which makes the best and most versatile air compressor I've ever tested.
I recently tested a bunch of air compressors from various companies, and this X9 Ultra beat the fastest one I tested by over 4 minutes. It took only 2 minutes and 15 seconds to add 20 psi of air to the tire. So this would be a great air compressor to keep in your RAV4 or your Tesla Model Y. Not only is it extremely fast, it comes with other tips. That way you can blow up sports balls, floats, or just simply tires on vehicles. This is an excellent product and it's packaged really well. I will have them linked below, or you can use the discount code on your screen at fantic.com.
Now, one big difference between the both of these vehicles is the lane keep assist system. So this has lane keep assist and dynamic cruise control. You're able to set your distance between cars, and it has lane keep assist, which keeps you within your lanes. But the lane keep in this is not great. I really don't trust it. It seems to drift towards sides, and you're grabbing the wheel before it even reacts to bring it back. Whereas in the Tesla, their autopilot system, yes, it does have issues with phantom braking. It is much better now. It used to be a lot worse. But overall, the autopilot system is so much more intuitive. You tap, it works, keeps you in your lane, and I think that this system is way better. Now, I've driven this about 400 miles and this over 70,000 miles, so I have a lot more experience with this. But the system in here, really just the dynamic cruise control. I generally just keep my hands on the wheel and steer it. So we are right in the middle of our efficiency test. The Model Y is about 3 times as efficient as the RAV4, but I'm gonna show you the real world results that we actually get on the test that I'm doing. All right, folks, the results are in. We've done a side-by-side test where we both drove down to one location and back. Round trip, it was 34 miles. So here's what we got. I also did a test where I drove the RAV4 with my family up north. So we went up to like 7,000 feet elevation and back down. On that trip, we used 280.6 miles traveled, 8 gallons of gas at $3.39.9 per gallon, costing $27.45, and that returned 34.74 miles per gallon. What's more impressive on the test that we just did, going approximately, the speed limit was 75, so we were between 70 and 80 the whole way down there, highway miles. We used 2.275 gallons of gas, which returned 41.31 miles per gallon, costing $7.99. To run this vehicle at about $3.50 per gallon, $3.40, you're looking at 8 cents per mile to run this. To run the Model Y, we used 27.33 kilowatt hours of energy, which if you do the conversion, that turns into 113.07 mpge. So even with this getting 41 miles per gallon, this is still almost 3 times as efficient in terms of energy usage. Now the cost for this is 4 cents per mile, so it costs you half per mile. That is with home charging of 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, if you're in California, gas costs more, electricity costs more. If you're in the middle of nowhere, all of those probably cost less. So that is the breakdown. This costs half as much to run. Generally, your travel is going to be going to work and around town, but if you're doing more road trips, this is extremely efficient. I'm really impressed with the efficiency of it. Because this is a non-plug-in hybrid, you don't really have to mess with the system, making sure the battery's charged. It will all do that on its own, and in that really inefficient city driving, the battery takes over. So I like the RAV4. I do not like the Woodlands edition. All of the money in this vehicle has been put into the off-road package, which works nice. So I think you'd be better off if you're not going to be using the off-road features. The standard hot RAV4 will be plenty, but all of the money in technology, driver assistance, and luxuries on the interior, I would rather have that personally on different trim levels of the RAV4, with it starting at $28,000. So really efficient, great comparison between the two. With the tax incentives on this, this is a far more advanced vehicle in terms of technology, but if you don't want to mess with that and you want to have gas and a hybrid and efficiency, it's really nice. You can get over 400 miles of range easy in this. That's impossible in the Model Y. Now, if you want to see how a Model 3 compares to the new Camry, click this video right here. I think you'll really enjoy that comparison as well.